Hello, guys. Manchester United 2, Aston Villa 2. A game very much of two halves. Very promising attacking football as what we saw in the first 45 minutes, as what we've been seeing all pre-season. Then the second half, starts off a little bit sluggish, even with, the same players still on the pitch. And then we bring our subs on, arguably gets even worse, turns into a bit of what me and Shreyas were saying on the watch-along, a UFC matchup. Everyone's pretty much fighting on the pitch. It's a bit staggered, and the tempo of the game completely goes. I've got Sam alongside me to discuss it. Eager to get your thoughts. Sam, what did you make of that whole 90 minutes?
Before I do, Lewis Jackson is reminding you that you need to get a shot done. We will do the shot.
Yeah,
we will do the shot. Don't worry, he will do it. People are not letting you forget that already.
Yeah, I know. I'll do it after Sam gives his analysis, and then I'll do my shot.
Yeah. So I think you pretty much said it. It's a tale of two halves, like I've put in the graphic. I think we played some really nice football. There was a little bit worrying bits in the first half, but nothing too overly shaky. I thought that Leon Bailey changed the game for them. I thought he provided a lot of danger and a lot of sort of attacks down that our left hand side, their right hand side. Lindelof looked suspect at times defending it because he was playing left-sided centre-back this game. Second half, and then we changed everybody after, was it 60 minutes, 65 minutes?
65.
So, and then it just all kind of died, death in it for United in terms of attacking or doing anything of note, really, and it was just all Villa at that point. The sort of only notes that sort of I liked and impressed me after that time was Hannibal getting stuck in and just seemingly going on a rampage against every single Villa player he could find, including the goalkeeper. That was the only thing that sort of made me excited for the second half. First half, a lot of good stuff. Second half, a lot of things to worry about and sort of bring you back down to reality that the team we're dealing with. We've got a great first 11, but our squad depth is severely lacking. Very, very much so in terms of quality.
Yeah, I was just about to say the exact same thing. This is a game that highlights to me how much depth we need, because don't forget, guys, we've got the World Cup, which starts in November, I think, and runs over until December. I think the final's December the 23rd. So you've got a lot of games we've played there. We're going to be in the Europa League, we're going to be in the FA Cup, and we're going to be in the Carabao Cup. So we're going to play at least 60 games. You've got that first squad to rely on, but as we all know, injuries happen, especially with our squad. Fucking hell, we have injuries left, right, and centre. So if you take, I don't know, let's say Sancho gets injured, let's say Varane's injured, and let's say Donny's injured, or let's say a left back's injured or whatever. We haven't got the sufficient cover, I don't think, and that's why we need to bring more players in. Yes, if you bring, I was saying in the first half, if you bring Eriksen in and you bring Lisandro into that team, it obviously improves it and it's more depth in them areas, but the centre-backs, there's still cobwebs there. I talk about this. Even when we've won in pre-season, I've said there's still cobwebs there on the transition. Villa got in, and that's that first 10, 15 minutes in the second half. They was getting in behind every time, Leon Bailey on that right-hand side. Yeah. And we're going to touch on the goals shortly, our goals and theirs, but I just thought, there's still a lot of habits there from when Ole used to coach us. There's still a lot of things I'm seeing similar traits from the players.
That second half was very much Ollie football, the latter days of Ollie football, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No imagination, no attacking threat, all over the place defensively. If it weren't for, I know you were saying on the live, if it weren't for Bay and Varane, they could have cut a couple there. They were in quite a few times.
Them two, Sam in particular, were the only ones in the second half who I thought played decent. The rest of it, I thought Wan-Bissaka was awful in the second half. I thought Malacia was okay, but didn't show much. The youngsters who, you think it's a massive chance for them, because there's certain youngsters who aren't even playing, like your Garnachos and stuff. And you're looking at a lot of hype behind James Garner, we was talking about it. I know it's only 25 minutes of pre-season or whatever, but you've got a chance to impress. I thought Chong was terrible. I thought Wan-Bissaka was terrible. I thought Garner, didn't really notice him that much. Hannibal, I noticed him just because he was kicking lumps of shit out of every single Villa player. But again, you can like that from a certain bit because he's got a bit of bite, but it's not all about bite. I want to see actually some footballing for you as well. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? If you want to be a fighter, go in the UFC and I'll watch you there, Hannibal. No problem. Put some bloody 4-ounce gloves on and I'll watch you. The rest, Elanga, did you even notice Elanga do anything?
No.
Because I didn't see him. It was an opportunity, I can't remember what minute it was, but it was a 4 versus 3.
Yeah, they just
And
killed the momentum, didn't they? They just stopped it.
Yeah, and they killed it. They stopped it, went back. Villa got numbers back, and that was it. That was done.
Yeah.
But let's take it back to the first half because I want to go through it like a story, if you will. So obviously we get the first 2 goals. Jadon Sancho gets the first one, I believe. Very well worked goal. You got Bruno into Rashford. Rashford makes the right decision. Actually makes the right pass. Waited past Luke Shaw with the overlap. Luke Shaw puts a great cross in. Sancho scores. Boom. We're buzzing. Happy. Sancho on the score sheet again. He's absolutely flying. Then we get our goal from Rashford. Bit of a lucky deflection, but you take it. And the first 45 minutes was good football. Exactly what we've been expecting.
Yeah.
Now you get into the second half. Villa get their goal. They score. Leon Bailey scores a really good goal. But what did you think about that? Because Lindelof, for me, wasn't good enough there. He should have showed him down the line.
Yeah, it's weird how we lining up. Lindelof was on the left-hand side of the centre-back. Normally, that's Harry Maguire, isn't it? I know we experimented last season and they'd switch sides and stuff like that. But it was interesting to see Lindelof on that side, and yeah, he just got exposed by Bailey. Varane as well, I think just before, he dived in and missed the tackle, didn't get there, which then left Lindelof exposed. So centre-back miscommunication there, just totally off. Leon Bailey, as soon as he came on, he looked dangerous, and I was saying in the chat and stuff, like, it's a shame he's injured so much because he's a very, very good player.
He's a talented player.
Dangerous player when he's fit, but his injury record is poor. So I think, he exposed our defence for the frailties that we had last season, and apparently we still do. Maybe that'll change when Lisandro Martinez comes in. If he's going to play centre-back, maybe that'll improve. Hopefully it does. If not, that's quite worrying that if we don't have Lisandro Martinez or Varane we can be got at quite easily with Maguire and Lindelof as your centre backs. That's quite worrying. I thought when Bay came on, it showed it up a little bit more, but we're still getting ripped apart on the other side when Shaw was there. Malacia
he's a better centre back.
Yeah,
he's a better centre back.
And then Shaw was getting torn apart quite a bit. Malacia did a little better when he came on, but not much in terms of that. Wan-Bissaka, he needs to go. He's done. It's over. It's literally over.
He's done for. If he becomes back, that'll be the biggest bloody comeback. I can't even think of any off the top of my head, but that'll be the biggest comeback.
The other games,
if he revives his career.
The other preseason games, he's been anonymous at best. Like, I didn't even notice he was playing. And then this game, he was just terrible. Not reaching passes. Nothing. No idea what to do on the ball when he had it. His passing was awful. Like, it was so bad. So that right-hand side. Who was playing on the right-hand side? Was it Elanga or was it Elanga on the left?
Chong was on the right. Chong was just as bad.
I don't rate Chong at all. Like,
I don't rate him at all.
So, that right-hand side, I had no imagination. You have Wan-Bissaka and Chong. It's like you're getting nothing.
And Chong's so readable as a player. You know exactly what he always cuts in on his left. He rarely takes it on his right down the line. He's very one-footed for me. And I thought he was shocking. Elanga, I didn't notice at all. I get you make a lot of subs. And it changes the tempo or whatever. But again, you have to impress the coach. You have to go on there and impress him, show that you're able. Have a
fight for your place.
Beat a man. Yeah, fight for your place, but not one of them. You can't tell me any of them players that have come on, bar maybe Eric Bailly and maybe Varane, have given the coach something to worry about.
Varane was always going to start. Varane was always going to start anyway.
Yeah. But again, he made a mistake, as you just alluded to. Then he was a little bit behind. Maybe that could be because he's not up to pace or whatever. I understand that because he seems to settle in after it.
I think it shows well though, like when he's surrounded by people who again panicking. That then disjoints him at the same time, if that makes sense. If he was if he had Martinez, Dallo, and like the other people in the first half around him, I don't think maybe he may not made that mistake because he knows he's got cover around him. I think because he had those sort of players around him, he felt like he had to take a risk in doing that tackle. And then obviously when you risk making a tackle like that or risk making an option like that, and you miss, it just leaves you exposed, which is what it did. And then Lindelof just didn't deal with it.
Yeah, definitely. If Lisandro Martinez is in that position that Lindelof is in, first of all, he'd show him onto his right because he definitely would as well because he's left-footed. So his stronger side is Lisandro's left side, and then Bailey's weaker side is his right foot. So he would show him onto that foot because he'd be more comfortable there naturally anyway. But 1v1 is far better than Lindelof. Watch him against, I know I always say it, watch him against Haaland or watch him against Nunes when he plays him in the Champions League. He's got him in his pocket because he's insanely good at reading the game. He's great 1v1. And even he doesn't look like the physical kind of guy, he can match anyone. There's been plenty of times where he's done that. So Lindelof is very suspicious 1v1 for me. He's good on the ball. I like how he plays out from the back. He keeps that calmness. Brings a good approach to that side of the games. But when it comes to physicality, and when he's 1v1 with an attacker, he does struggle.
He needs that partner next to him, doesn't he? He needs somebody next to him who's willing to do that work so he can concentrate on being on the ball and passing it out and stuff like that. But
I do worry for him because I think he will be dropped down the pecking order when Lisandro comes in, naturally. I just think he's going to be turned into a squad player or Europa League kind of centre-back because he's not a first-team centre-back. And arguably Maguire isn't, but I thought Maguire had a better game.
Yeah, he had
might be in the minority there, but
he had a good block, didn't he? When Bailey got in behind, one-on-one,
took it round the hair, didn't he?
Took it round the hair and he blocked it. So yeah, he did some decent defending.
He did quite a lot. Like, even playing out from the back, he was relatively good. I thought. Didn't put, unless I'm forgetting something, someone remind me, but he didn't put a foot wrong really. I don't think. I thought Dalot wasn't at the levels he was in the last game. He was good. He was alright. He wasn't linking up as much with Sancho. It didn't seem. I don't know what it was. I'm not entirely sure. Luke Shaw started off like a bullet from a gun. I thought he was alright. He was all over, up and down that flank, and then he dropped off majorly. The second half, the first 15 minutes, I don't know what happened to him. He just he completely zapped of energy. Fuck knows what happened. But if we're going to compete and be very competitive in the Premier League, and we want to push for that top 4 spot, and be competitive in the other cup competitions, fitness is going to have to increase. Intensity is going to have to increase for the full 90 minutes. Because if you look at Aston Villa, the way they played, they was pressing for the full 90 minutes pretty much. Yeah. Even 4:65 when the players were on, and then even when the subs came on, it didn't look like it changed in terms of intensity. Whereas ours completely flatlined and dropped off. So it's worrying for that. I just think it brings a bit more perspective, Sam, into where we're at, because a lot of players are hyping the results and hyping the performances, which rightly so to a certain extent, but it shows that we still need depth from it.
I think there's encouraging signs, like we said, from the pre-season. The stuff we're doing well is improved. They clearly have philosophy and the tactics and the way of playing, but the weaknesses we had last season are still there. They're still being exposed 100%. Now and then. And one of the biggest is squad depth. And I know Ten Hag said, we want to get players in, Ragnick said before he left there should be 10 players, and I agree with him. There needed to be. We were never going to get 10 signings. Probably. That was never going to happen. No. But we need 10 signings. I think. Yeah. There's 19 people in the chat. Drop your questions. Drop your comments in. Any sort of thoughts, feelings on the game, drop them in. We'll read them out. Also, if you've not subscribed to the channel, please do. We're now just past 250, which reminds me, Nick has to do a shot of whiskey because he did promise. Do you know what, mate? I'll join you. You won't be alone. Let me get a shot.
Right, I've got my whiskey here. I'm not going to promote him, but you can probably tell which one that is if you're a whiskey drinker. So, a promise is a promise. We said if we hit our aim initially. Sorry, I forgot my mics here. Our aim initially was to hit 250 subs by the time we start the season. So I won our first game against Brighton, but we've smashed that before the pre-season tours even ended. We've got Sam there with some Woodford.
If Woodford wants to sponsor us, me and Nick are massive fans, so do feel free. That's also a good choice. That's a good choice.
Take your pick.
Any bourbon companies sponsor us.
Throw it at us. Just pay us in whiskey, and we'll be happy.
Just throw some whiskey in. We'll be happy.
So, I haven't got a shot glass because I couldn't find one. So is that sufficient amount?
I mean, that's more than a shot, yeah.
Yeah. But he deserves it. It's 250 subs in it, so where's me? Smells very lovely. Starting Saturday off. Right. So.
Cheers, everybody.
250 subs. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
It.
Woo!
Woo! Woo! Oh.
Ugh.
Need a bit of a chaser after that. Damn.
That wakes you up,
My
doesn't it?
Yeah. Wow.
Oh,
Damn. That is beautiful stuff.
good stuff.
Lovely.
Good stuff. Thank you to everybody. And we've got 37 people in the chat, so drop your questions, drop your comments. Skip back a little bit to see us do our shot of whiskey for the 250 subs, because we're not doing another one.
And if we reach 300 during
yeah.
We'll
If we do 300, we'll do another one, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. 1 second. Let's bring my mic back in. I keep forgetting. I'll put it over there. So our next pre-season game, I believe, is on Saturday. Is it against? Is it Atletico Madrid?
Atletico, and then Sunday we play Vallecano.
Yeah, Sunday Vallecano. So 2 games in quick succession. Let us know, guys. I know Sam mentioned it before, but your thoughts on the actual game itself, thoughts on the upcoming games, and how you see us play, how you see the team shaping. You know, as we get closer and closer towards that game against Brighton. Do you want to do the ratings, Sam?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Okay, bear with me a second. Let me just bring that up there.
Anybody in the chat? Who was your man of the match? Who was your player that you thought did really well? Obviously, we'll probably have to go off the first half because the second half was terrible. But yeah, let us know in the chat who your man of the matches.
And what we'll do is we'll start from obviously back to front as usual, from De Gea to Anthony Martial. So David De Gea. I didn't think any of the goals particularly could have done any better, to be honest. I thought the Leon Bailey strike was very, very good. You can't really get near that. It was more Lindelof's fault, so no fault on that. The set piece was the scored right at the end. Obviously, really disappointing, but did surprise me because it was all over us in the second half. I don't know if he could have, commanded his box a little bit better.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Maybe, but I thought the people marking him, if there was anyone marking him, because I couldn't really get a close view who was man marking him, but that was terrible as well.
Terrible.
Lapse in concentration, but yeah, I'd say average for David De Gea 6. I'm not sure what you think, Sam.
I'd probably go 5.5 because he's conceded 2 goals, and like you said, I think he could have commanded his area way better, organised his defence, because clearly his defence didn't do enough, and organise them better, let them know where they need to be and stuff like that. Because I think that header was unmarked. Who scored the header? I can't remember who it was.
It was Chambers, I think.
Chambers. He was completely unmarked. So that shouldn't happen on a corner. Like, they should have man to man. They shouldn't be unmarked.
Again, bad at corners. Bad at corners again, man. Like, when are we going to learn from set pieces? We need to be better at them offensively and defensively. You need to sort that out. So I'll agree with you. Yeah, you're right. 5.5, absolutely. Let us know your ratings in the chats, guys. What you thought of David De Gea's performance and the rest we're about to discuss now. Diego Dallo, I thought he was, as I said before, a little bit not as good as he was in the last game. I thought he was alive. He was linking up with Sancho really nice. Dealt with what he had in front of him, relatively good. But again, steady performance from me. I'd say 6. Nothing more, nothing less.
I'd agree with that. He wasn't as good as he was against Crystal Palace or previously. Made some good efforts. There was good little bits of link-up plays and good overlaps and stuff. But yeah, like you said previously, his connection with Sancho was a little bit off. I don't know what it was. It just didn't seem to be as good as it was, like with the overlaps and stuff like that. Maybe it's because he didn't have Malacia with him. It was Luke Shaw, so he's a little bit of a difference. But yeah, 6. I'd agree with that.
Harry Maguire, we're going to move on to. I thought, again, it didn't put a foot wrong, really. Some people want to criticise him just because it's Harry Maguire and try to throw whatever they can at him, but I thought he had a steady game, looked okay. Probably even, I don't know if I'd bump up to 6.5, but that defensive block he put in when Bailey took it round De Gea, if he scores that, then Villa potentially win the game. So I'd give him a 6.5. I thought he played really well.
Yeah, totally agree with you. I think you've said everything. I'd probably say Harry Maguire.
Yeah. Victor Lindelof, however, is going to get a 5 from me. Like I said, I like him on the ball. He's really good playing out from the back and brings that calmness. But then when he's 1v1 or when he has a physical battle, he isn't great. And we've seen it in the past 2 games now. I don't think he's going to be a starting centre-back. I think when Lissandro comes in, it'll be Lissandro Varane or Lissandro Maguire, and he'll get pushed down the pecking order. Which is a little bit of a shame because he started okay the first couple of games. Lindelof looked all right. Even in the high line, he looked okay. But this game today showed again the cobwebs that he's still got, and I don't know if Ten Hag can get rid of them just like that. So interesting to see how it develops with Lindelof, but I'd give him a 5.
Yeah, he wasn't great today. It was a shame because last year he was arguably our most consistent defender. Like, like in a terrible season, he was probably our best centre back and best defender. But yeah, it wasn't great. Was probably at fault for the first goal. The marking in the box. I don't think he was on at that. Was he on? Or had he gone off at that point for the second goal?
Who?
Lindelof.
Second goal. Yeah, he was off.
He was
off. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
He's probably at fault for the first goal. Didn't really put in much of an impressive performance for me. So yeah, I'd probably go with a 5.
Mm-hmm. And Luke Shaw's a bit of a weird one because I thought the first 45 minutes he was one of the better players on the pitch. I thought he played really well up and down that left hand side, bombing. Looked like he had that competitive spirit again. If you remember when, cast your minds back to when we brought Alex Telles in and his performance levels went up. He's obviously watched Malacia. I joked on the stream saying that he's seen him in his nightmares and he's just like, right, he's not taking my spot. This is my left back position. Looked really good first 45, and then we kick off the second half. Looks flat. Looks like short of energy. Not interested. Like the complete opposite in a sense. And a lot of their attacks were coming down the right hand side as well, especially when Leon Bailey came on. So Luke Shaw, really good first half. Not great second 15. I'd give him an average 6. For me, if he kept his performance up for the full 65, what he was doing, I'd give him a 6.5 because I thought he was really good. Actually got an assist for Sancho as well, which I completely forgot about. I'd give him a 6.5.
It's a 6 for me, but yeah, I thought, like you said, I thought he started really well. Did a lot of good things on that sort of left hand side, and then I thought he was left a little exposed once Leon Bailey started having a go at us and stuff like that, and obviously he came off after that. But yeah, for me, he set such a high bar when he was the Roberto Carlos levels. Like, we've seen how good he can be when he's at his best, and it just doesn't seem like he's reaching those levels at all, or even close to them. And for me, that's where he should be aiming to be. He should be aiming to be those levels, because if he's at those levels, Malacia isn't getting anywhere near the team. Like, he shuts him out completely. I know we'll probably touch on Tellers later, but I thought he was terrible as well, and then he ended up in defensive midfield at some point as well. So
the ones who came on for the last 30 minutes, I don't think we're going to do a rating system for them because it was just flat and basically the game went dead. So we'll stick with the first 7 minute. Fred, I don't know what you thought of Fred's performance. I thought he was all right. He's played some good passes, but then he also showed it's Fred in it. You just know it's like Marmite. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Or you love him and you hate him. He played some really good passes out. I think he got the ball he played for the second goal, I think it was to Sancho, when Sancho set up Rashford, was a really good pass. Yeah. I completely forgot about it. Really, really good pass. But then you got the bad side of his game as well, where he gives it away in stupid areas, gives them a transition like a good few times. And yeah, he let me down a little bit. Yeah. Again, towards like the last stages of when he was on, so I'd give him a 6.
He's so like. Also, there's 36 people in the chat and nobody's putting comments and stuff. Come on, drop your comments. Let's get some interaction going. I'd love to hear from you guys. Let's get it going. Fred. I want to love Fred so much because personality-wise, he seems like a great guy. When he's great, he's fucking amazing. He does some spectacular things on the pitch. But in every single game, it's never consistent. It's always bit pieces. There's always like fantastic moments and then just stupid moments like giving the ball away, losing a tackle, stuff like that. And it's just so annoying to watch because you want to like him.
To iron out the mistakes, kind of.
You want to like him, like you want to get behind him, and you want to be like, this guy's good, and then he'll just do something stupid, and it kills you sort of support for it. But yeah, for me, 5.5 because the consistency. If he could get a consistent run of like 5-6 games together where he doesn't make a shit ton of mistakes or do something ridiculous, I could get behind him. But he just every game there's something happens where he gives the ball away or he's attempting a 60-yard screamer, and like 1 out of 10 it'll go in, but then the rest of the time it doesn't. It goes over the bar, it goes wide and stuff like that. So it's just he's a frustrating player for me. So.
Yeah, I think consistency is the key word in it to use. Like, you need consistent players, and even if they are dropping clangers like only a few times, that's all it takes in the Premier League. That's how. If you drop 5% as a player, people will walk all over you. So yeah, I completely agree with your assessment there. I said 6. You said 5.5. We'll leave that to the chat. Let us know what you thought of Fred's performance, what you'd give him out of 10, and how you think he performed, and we'll come back to that. Donny van de Beek, average performance, looked better than McTominay does in that position, kept things ticking over, nice and simple. Didn't really do anything out of the ordinary, like massive, so I'd say a 6 for Donny van de Beek.
Yeah, like I think he had his best performance against Crystal Palace, didn't he? That was his best showing so far. It's a shame because I thought he might capitalise it on in this game. He had a really good showing. And then he's getting a start finally. Something we've been screaming out for God knows how long. We don't want to see McFred anymore. So, he didn't put a foot wrong, but again, didn't really do anything of note. Couple of good passes here and there. Looked good on the ball, stuff like that. So yeah, 6 for me. Average, nothing special really.
Yeah. I thought this game in particular, Sam, was much more like an actual Premier League game. The intensity and the pressure that Villa was putting all over the pitch. It was more like that kind of game. And I think it's all right when you play against Palace or Melbourne. Was it Melbourne who we put Melbourne victory? Wasn't it? Where you've got a bit more time on the ball and you can start to pick your passes off and it's easier and we look really good. Then when you get a bit of pressure on you from good physical athletes, it makes the game much tougher and you have to be much quicker and more decisive in your thinking. And I think some players on the pitch struggled with that today. Bruno Fernandes, what did we think of Bruno? I thought he was good. I thought there was one bit where he tried playing a pass to Rashford, the Hail Mary or the Hollywood pass, whatever you want to call it. Didn't work out at all. Ten Hag went a bit mad at him. But apart from that, I thought he was linking play okay. Was involved in one of the goals. I can't remember which one it was. Yeah, he played it to Rashford to Shaw to Sancho scores. Steady performance, wasn't bad, but wasn't necessarily good. Again, it's a lot of 6s in these ratings today.
Nobody stepped up to the plate, did they? Like nobody was just like.
Yeah, I think Sancho arguably is the only one that like looks similar into the past few games. I'd argue that, but you might think different.
No, I agree, but I think like nobody stepped above. Like nobody was like
a 7,
an
8,
or like like Sancho last game was in 7.58. Like he was out of this world. Whereas this game, I wouldn't say it, but we'll get on to Sancho in a minute. But yeah, Bruno, he didn't do anything where I thought, oh, that's stupid or it annoyed me, any of that. But again, little bits of involvement, good passing, stuff like that. But it's just it just seemed like not an off night for him, but it just didn't seem like a prime.
I think it's underwhelming.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because it's pre-season. Maybe because the travel. I don't know what it is, but
adjusting to the tactics as well. Maybe
whatever it is, there seemed to be like the come down from the high that we've been riding for the last couple of games, and it's gonna come because it's pre-season. This is what pre-season's for. Work out tactically what's working, what's not. Work out what the players are. Make the mistakes now because it doesn't really matter right now. It's pre-season, so make your mistakes now, and you can work it out as the training and stuff goes on like that. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, for me, average performance for Bruno, nothing special, but didn't do anything wrong either, really. So yeah, 6. I'd agree with that.
Okay, Marcus Rashford got a goal that he will claim is his, but was definitely going wide and turned into an own goal. Had some decent patterns of play again with the first goal. Timed the Luke Shaw run perfectly, which he doesn't usually do. But then he also had things as well where it was like the old Marcus Rashford, with his passing and timing and stuff. I thought he was all right. He was okay again. I don't want to keep saying this for players, but he didn't pull up trees, did he, Marcus Rashford? And he didn't exactly put in a shit performance. So again, it was a 6 for me. The goal that he scored was going wide. So if he scored that, I'd probably bump it up to 6.5. But again, I'm giving Rashford a 6.
There's some decision making again from him in that game where there was a couple of good passes from Bruno or not Sancho, Donny and stuff like that where he was in, and he'd make the wrong decision instead of like cutting it across to Martial or like playing it to cut back to Bruno or something like that, he'd run at the defender or try a shot and it'd just get blocked and stuff like that. There was a couple of moments like that, which is the old Rashford that we were so frustrated with last season. And I think he needs to sort that out in his game. I think if he sorts that out and makes his decision making becomes better, I think he could be very dangerous. I think he could nail down that left hand side for himself. I think he could be a starter, but his decision making at times was frustrating. I'd probably 5.5 because the goal he wasn't scoring that. I think if the defender hadn't got in the way and put it in the back of the net, I don't think he'd be scoring. Some odd moments of thing. I think Ten Hag's still trying to work with him. I think Ten Hag sees something and he's still trying to get something out of him.
Maybe that's why he wants to bring Anthony in, Sam.
Maybe.
Because he sees like Rashford being decent, but maybe not what he wants. He wants Sancho on the left, inverted wingers, and then Anthony on the right. I'm not sure.
We've said about squad depth and it's not quite there yet. We do have, just to remind everybody, we do have Sandro Martinez and Eriksen who've not played for us yet. They are waiting, signed, ready to go. So we do have some coming in, but not enough in my opinion. But we do have options coming in. So hopefully that might freshen things up a bit in terms of the attack and stuff. But yeah, Rashford for me, 5.5.
If I was using an analogy with Marcus Rashford, I'd say if he's crawling out of a hole, he's got so at the end of last season, he's got someone on the right arm, someone on his left arm, someone dragging him down his left leg and his right leg. Now it feels like a few shackles have been released and he's becoming a little bit better, but he's still got some traits there that he's sticking to with his football intelligence and off the ball work and stuff. But I think that will come. It's just a lot of these players have been lacking coaching for the past kind of
confidence
2-3 years.
They're lacking confidence as well.
Confidence,
confidence is shattered because last season was abysmal. And Rashford, we said in our season review, we all agreed that Rashford was the worst player for us by far. And that is in a performance that had Harry Maguire in there, and he was apocalyptically bad. So yeah, I think hopefully it'll come. It seems like some players have adapted quicker than others. Like Jadon Sancho is straight away.
Dalot.
He's on it. Dalot on it. Malacia seems to be adapting. Fred seems to be getting there. Anti Martial again. They all seem to have bought into the system and adapted very quickly. Rashford still seems to be lagging behind a little bit in terms of fully coming into this system, but hopefully he'll get there. I hope that Ten Hag can get something and get into the level that everybody else seems to be tuning into.
Seems like a game like today was a reality check for a lot of the players. Like they was believing in the kind of thing. They're like, whoa, hold on a sec. It's, there's still some steps to go. And I think Ten Hag's been reiterating that in the press conferences as well. And the interviews that he's been giving, he's like, yeah, it was good, but it was still, I can see a lot of things that need
he said it in
on.
He said it in the first game, didn't he? Like when we smashed them. Was it 4-1 first game?
Who? Liverpool, yeah, I think so.
And he said it in the first game. He's like, yeah, great result, but I saw so much stuff where I was like, that is changed. So I think Ten Hag's just going to be honest, isn't he, with all the players and be like, I don't care if you've scored, you did this wrong. So
Jadon Sancho, my man of the match personally, I thought he was good again. Not as great as he was last game, but still very bright. Looks really good on the ball. Obviously got his goal and got an assist for the Rashford goal as well. So definitely my man of the match. I'd give him probably a 7 out of 10. I thought he was really good.
Yeah, Rashford was great. I think not Rashford, sorry, Sancho. I've just seen a comment that said Rashford. Sancho, yeah, fantastic, really good. Obviously not as great. Sorry, I shouldn't say fantastic because that was the last game. I think he was really good.
Benchmark here, innit?
Yeah, he was really good. Got his goal, played well. I think he's been our standout player under Ten Hag and in this preseason.
Yeah, definitely.
I think he's done well. I think he could be our best player this coming season. I think he's going to be key to everything. 6.5 I think. Wasn't quite. Maybe I could bump it up to a 7 because he scored. But yeah, 7. I'll go with a 7. There's a comment. Rashford was your worst player, but Maguire was apocalyptic. Please make that make sense. Because Maguire made mistakes consistently that would just cost us matches, whereas Rashford was just every single game was
And also,
poor.
we're referring to last season. We're not on about the game that's just been played. We're on about last season. Maguire was apocalyptic and Rashford was really bad. If you don't agree with that, then it's what it is. But I think a lot of United fans are singing from the same hymn sheet on that. They were both diabolical last season. So yeah, James Sancho, you give him a 7? Yeah.
7, I'd say. Yeah, man of the match as well.
7.
I'd agree, man of the match.
Yeah, definitely. And then Anthony Martial, very quiet today. Didn't see much from him. Had a few little bits of link-up play, but obviously doesn't get a goal to keep his record going of consistent goals in games. I thought he was 6. I didn't see him do much, to be honest, but didn't do much wrong.
Yeah, it's a good movement. His movement in the box is very good. There was a cutback when they almost scored another own goal, wasn't there? I can't remember who did the cross.
Yeah, I know what you're on about. Yeah.
And his movement was very good. He was like right there, and if that defendant hadn't have cut in on it, that was Martial, and he was scoring. So I thought his movement was very good. But yeah, just a shame he didn't get a goal. But again, like I think I agree with you, very quiet, not quite at the levels he's been at the last few games. It's a shame he didn't score because I thought he would sort of kick on from there. But yeah, he wasn't bad by any stretch, but just wasn't fully up to speed, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree with that. So that's all our ratings done. I think, to kind of summarise what we get from this game, or what I personally think, I feel, there isn't enough quality in midfield. We've known that for a long, long time, but each game we play in pre-season, I feel like it highlights that. We definitely need a De Jong and probably a Tielemans in there as well, and I think that would transform the team. There's lack of depth behind the likes of Sancho and Marcus Rashford. I feel like the players behind them aren't.
The defence as well, lack of depth in the defence.
Yeah, just depth throughout the full team. And you think there's a lot of games in the season. We keep mentioning it, but you've got 60-odd games in the season, the World Cup coming up. Like, you can't rely on that second string of players because I don't think they're up to it. I really don't think they're up to it. So if you can bring in, we've got Lissandro and Eriksen coming in, as we know, they're already signed. But you bring De Jong in on top of that and then another attacker, you might be okay. But you probably need another midfielder. In my opinion, you might need a Tielemans for 25 million. Go do it. Sell McTominay. Sell Wan-Bissaka, go get Dumfries and go get Tielemans, and I think you improve that squad significantly.
Yeah, I'd like to see a right back come in, for sure.
Yeah, exactly, definitely, to compete with Dalot, because if he hasn't got that competition there, as we know with most players, the level drops. He needs someone pushing him for that position, and I think someone like a Denzel Dumfries or who was the other one? Plays for Walker Peters, who plays for Southampton. Someone like that maybe can come in and can compete with Dalot. We've got, as I said before, the game on Saturday. I think that's against Atletico in Oslo, and then Rayo Vallecano on Sunday, which is at Old Trafford, which hopefully will be live for. I am on holiday, so I won't be here. So it'll be Sam and a few of the other lads, Adam, Shreyas, Dan, covering the shows. Anything else you want to touch on the game, Sam, before we kind of head off?
No, I think it's a crash to reality, isn't it? It's like we're riding a high for the few games.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of put things in perspective of where we're actually at. We aren't winning the league. We aren't probably qualifying for the Champions League next season. As much as...
Wow. Big statements.
I'm just being honest. That's how I feel. If we do it, awesome, perfect. But I think 5th is where we're going to probably end up. 5th or 6th is where we end up. Unless we suddenly sign a raft of signings in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. But I don't think that's happening. But I think it's good. It's good to have these games of like, okay, these are the things we need to work on. These are the exposures that we need to sort of fix and players and all that sort of stuff. So it's good to have these games in pre-season. You don't want to be absolutely smashing pre-season and go, oh, we're fine, no problems. And then we go to Brighton and get absolutely smashed like we did last season at Old Trafford. Yeah. Don't need that. So it's good to have these moments in pre-season. Just a couple of comments from Uno Campbell. He's put, I'm not even a Man U fan, I just love real footy talk. Good to have you, mate. All fans are welcome here as long as you're not a Scouser.
Absolutely.
That's fine. Good to have you, mate. Subscribe if you haven't already. Yeah, I think that's my sort of thoughts on the games. Should I touch on what's happening for the rest of the week?
Yeah, very quickly if you can, because I need to head off.
So obviously Nick's on holiday. He's going to Tenerife tomorrow. So they'll be streaming tomorrow. I'm not sure whether it'd be me or Shreyas or Adam. We'll figure it out. Somebody will be streaming on Twitch, which is below here. Follow us on all the socials: Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Twitch, which is Real Reds Gaming. Just search Real Reds Talk on the others, you'll find us. For the rest of the week, we'll have the usual stuff. So we'll have Monday, we'll have the news show.
No, Instagram Live.
Instagram Insta Live on a Monday. News show Tuesday. Wednesday. Yeah. It's normally head to head, but we're gonna figure something out because we think we might do something a little different. But we'll let you know with the schedule. Thursday there'll be no 10 bag, unfortunately, because Nick is on holiday. But I'm sure Adam or someone will do a FIFA stream and we'll sort it out. Friday transfer show. Saturday we've got the Atletico game, and then is it Sunday the Rayo Vallecano game?
Yeah.
So we'll get all your full coverage on there. We'll have all the news on our Twitter and our Instagram, TikTok. We'll have all the funny clips from the shows and stuff like that. If you haven't subscribed, please do. That'd be fantastic. Una Campbell in the comments. I'm going to subscribe. Awesome. Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. Zenas Kwashaya, bro, the teams lack depth. We need some signings. Agree, mate. Totally agree. Thank you for everybody for watching. 13 viewers at the minute, and we got up to like 30 odd. Appreciate everything. We got to 250, and you just missed us do a shot about 10 minutes ago, so scroll back to see us do a shot. We appreciate all the support. We're going to start pushing towards 300. That's our next goal. So if you know anybody who likes the football, who likes United, who likes football, share the channel. That's the best sort of advice we can give you. Just share the channel with other people. Help this grow.
And the final comment to end it on, Tenag's just come out and said, we had control of the game and then we gave it away. This is not good. This is something we need to work on. And that's what we need
Speaking
to do.
sense again, the gaffer, innit?
Yeah, exactly. All right, thank you for joining us, guys. Thank you for joining me, Sam, to give us your thoughts. We'll see you in the next one. I won't because I'll be on holiday. But Sam, we'll see you in the next one.
See you
in a bit, guys.
See you soon.